Okay, so that Arsenal match,
Yeah.
it was a tough one.
It was.
No sugarcoating it, but you know what? Even in a loss, there's always something we can learn.
Absolutely.
And that's what this deep dive is all about.
Yeah.
We're not just going to like dissect the result,
Right.
but we're going to try to understand how Rúben Amorim
Yes.
is shaping Manchester United.
Exactly. We're going beyond the scoreline here, getting into the tactics, individual performances, all those little trends that start to reveal a manager's vision.
Right. So we've got like match analysis reports, expert commentary.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to give you like that 360-degree view.
Absolutely.
And one thing that kind of jumps out immediately are those 2 goals off corners.
Yeah.
Set pieces.
Set pieces.
That's got to be a red flag, right?
It definitely exposed a vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I think it's even more telling because of how Arsenal targeted it.
Right.
Strategically, remember Saka just tearing down that left flank?
Oh, yeah. It felt like every time.
Acres of space.
He had acres of space.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Amorim had his hands tied a bit with the injuries and that suspension, forcing him to improvise on defense.
Yeah.
And he ended up with 2 right-footed players on the left.
Ooh.
Not ideal when you need that natural left-footed clearance.
Right.
Arsenal and especially Saka picked up on that imbalance instantly.
So it's like what looks like a simple set-piece weakness actually reveals a lot about both sides.
Yeah.
Arsenal's precision, but also like the depth issues that Amorim is still wrestling with.
For sure.
It makes you think about those transfer windows in a whole new light.
Absolutely. One tiny detail.
Yeah.
But it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
About the larger challenges of building a squad.
Okay, let's switch gears to United's attack for a second.
Okay.
We saw flashes of brilliance. Rashford had those bursts.
Yeah.
Ahmad looked dangerous at times.
For sure.
But the goals just weren't there.
Right.
What's the story?
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Amorim is demanding a high-intensity, quick transition game. What some are calling Amorim ball.
Amorim ball.
Yeah. Think rapid passing, constant movement.
Okay.
Players switching positions fluidly.
Got it.
That takes time to master.
Right.
And it's clear the squad is still adapting.
So it's not just about needing like a better finisher up top.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new way of thinking and playing football.
Exactly. They're being rewired almost.
Wow.
We see glimpses of it working beautifully.
Yeah.
But then there are moments where the old habits creep back in.
Right. But amidst all that, you could see those sparks of what Amorim is building towards.
Yeah.
What for you were the clearest signs of this Amorim ball in action?
The rotations, for one.
Okay.
Seeing Bruno Fernandes deeper, almost as a playmaker, pulling the strings.
Right.
And Nusir Mazraoui pushed higher. That tells you Amorim isn't afraid to experiment.
Right.
Even with established stars.
So I see what you mean. It's like he's saying, forget what you think you know.
Yeah.
We're building something completely different here.
And beyond the personnel, the structure was telling.
Okay.
You saw that emphasis on building from the back.
Yeah.
Patient passing sequences. And when possession was lost, bang, everyone's pressing in unison to win it back.
Oh, wow.
That's classic Amorim.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to see those principles taking root.
Okay, so we're seeing the foundation being laid. But let's be honest, there are some growing pains too, right?
Well, we've touched on the defensive lapses, especially on set pieces.
Yeah.
A stronger commanding center back who can organize that back line would make a world of difference.
Yeah.
And remember, they were missing key left-sided defenders in this match, which amplify the issue.
So that's like a chain reaction.
Precise.
One missing piece throws off the whole system.
Then there's the attack.
Yeah.
The talent is there, but converting those chances into goals is crucial.
Yeah.
Working on off-ball runs to pull defenders out of position.
Okay.
And practicing quick one-touch passing in the final third.
Got it.
Could be key to unlocking that attacking potential.
So it's less about individual brilliance, more about sharpening those collective movements, those almost instinctive combinations.
And the final piece of the puzzle is that midfield.
Oh, right, yeah.
Amorim needs a blend of defensive solidity and creative spark. Against Arsenal, they struggled against that high press.
Yeah.
Too easily bypassed. Not enough control and possession.
Right.
Finding the right balance there will be a constant challenge as he shapes the team.
So you've got defensive solidity, attacking fluidity, and that midfield engine room. It's like Amorim is trying to build a high-performance machine. but he needs all the parts working perfectly in sync.
And that, my friend, is where the real magic happens.
Well, listeners, it's clear we're just scratching the surface here. We've unpacked the set-piece vulnerability, the attacking inconsistencies, that midfield conundrum. But there's a flip side to all of this.
There's a ton of positives to dive into.
Oh, okay.
And trust me, it gets really interesting when you start to see those glimpses of what this team could become.
So before we move on, think about this. We've identified some key weaknesses.
Yeah.
But what kind of players would you bring in to complement Amorim's system and really unlock its full potential? Keep that in mind as we keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Because this is just the beginning of our deep dive.
Yeah, it is, for sure. Yeah. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one thing to spot the gaps.
Yeah.
But then it becomes like this puzzle of finding the perfect pieces to fit Amorim's vision.
Okay, so we've got the tactical blueprint, but now we need the players who can bring it to life.
Exactly. So let's start with that defense.
Okay.
We've talked about set pieces.
Yeah.
The need for more authority in the air. Ideally, you want a dominant center back.
Right.
Someone who's a vocal leader.
Yes.
Wins every header.
Yeah.
And can organize that back line like a chess grandmaster.
Someone who just radiates calm in those high-pressure moments.
Exactly.
Especially with the young talent around them.
Right, and with that left side needing reinforcement, a natural left-footed fullback would be huge.
Okay.
Not just defensively sound,
right,
but someone who can overlap, deliver those pinpoint crosses, really contribute to that attacking fluidity.
Right, so that balance is key.
And Amorim loves.
They can't just be a defensive wall.
Yeah.
They need to be a part of that attacking wave that we're starting to see.
Now let's talk midfield.
Okay, the midfield.
This is where it gets really fascinating.
How?
Because Amorim demands so much from his players in this area.
Okay.
They need to know engines.
Yeah.
Transitioning seamlessly from defense to attack.
So we're talking about a different breed of midfielder. Not just your classic destroyer or playmaker.
Yeah, exactly. You want someone with exceptional passing range.
Okay.
The vision to pick out those killer passes.
Right.
But also the stamina to press relentlessly. Win the ball back high up the pitch.
Wow.
Think of it as like a hybrid almost.
Okay.
That all-action midfielder who can dictate tempo and control the flow of the game.
It sounds like a rare breed, almost like trying to find a unicorn.
Well,
those players are usually commanding top dollar too.
That's the challenge for any club.
Yeah?
Trying to build a squad that can compete at the highest level.
Right.
And then up top,
yeah.
We know United has attacking flair.
They do.
But that clinical edge has been missing.
Yeah, you can create all the chances in the world.
Right.
But if you're not putting them away, it's all for nothing.
A true goal scorer.
Right.
Someone who lives for those moments in the box.
Yeah.
That's the missing piece.
Okay.
But not just a poacher.
Right.
They need to be comfortable dropping deep, linking up play. Fitting into that fluid attacking movement Amorim is building.
So it's not just about raw talent. It's about understanding the system, that almost telepathic connection with your teammates.
And that is where Amorim's brilliance comes in.
Okay.
He's not just a tactician, he's a builder.
Right.
He can spot potential and mold players to fit his vision.
It's like watching a sculptor at work.
Oh.
They see the finished masterpiece in that raw block of stone.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And the raw materials are there.
Okay.
United has a talented squad.
Yeah.
It's about Amorim refining those talents, adding those missing pieces, and creating something truly special.
Okay, so we've talked personnel, but let's dive a little deeper into the tactical side.
Okay.
You mentioned Amorim ball.
It's become this buzzword, but what does it actually mean?
Well, it's more than just a buzzword.
Right.
It's a philosophy.
Okay.
And it's built on a few key principles.
All right.
First and foremost, relentless intensity.
Okay.
High pressing, winning the ball back quickly.
Got it.
And then lightning fast transitions.
Right.
Turning defense into attack in the blink of an eye.
So it's not just about speed.
Right.
It's about that controlled aggression.
Exactly.
Almost like a pack of wolves hunting in unison.
It's organized chaos.
Oh, wow.
There's a method to the madness.
Okay.
Players are constantly moving.
Yeah.
Interchanging positions, creating overloads to exploit any space the opposition gives them.
Right.
You can't switch off for a second when you're playing against Amorim's teams.
And that positional flexibility you mentioned earlier, that's crucial.
Yes.
It's like a puzzle that's constantly shifting.
Precisely.
Making it really hard to defend against.
And that's why the players he brings in need to be adaptable, intelligent, able to read the game and make decisions on the fly.
So it's about finding players who are technically gifted, physically strong, but also mentally agile enough to thrive in this system.
And that, my friend, is why the recruitment process is so important.
Yeah.
They need to be scouting not just for talent,
right,
but for a specific mentality.
Okay.
Players who are hungry to learn to push their limits.
It's like assembling a team of elite athletes.
Yes.
And chess grandmasters.
Yeah.
They need both the physical and the mental prowess
to execute Amorim's vision.
Yeah, and that's what makes this so fascinating to watch unfold. We're seeing a manager who's not afraid to challenge conventions.
Right.
To build a team that reflects his unique philosophy.
We've talked a lot about the macro level, formations, player roles, that overall philosophy.
Right.
But for those of us who aren't tactical geniuses, what are some of the micro level things to watch for?
Okay.
Those subtle details that reveal Amorim ball in action.
Give us the inside scoop.
You're speaking my language now. The beauty is in the details.
Oh, okay.
Watch for those perfectly timed overlapping runs. The way players create triangles to maintain possession.
Right.
The speed at which they swarm the ball when it's lost.
So it's less about individual moments of brilliance and more about that collective understanding.
Exactly.
That almost telepathic connection between players.
And it's not going to be perfect overnight.
Right.
There will be growing pains.
Of course.
But when you see those flashes of Amorim ball clicking into place, it's truly a sight to behold.
All right, before we move on, I want to bring it back to our listeners.
Okay.
Imagine you're sitting in Amorim's chair.
Yeah.
You've got the tactical blueprint. You've identified the areas to strengthen. What's your top priority in the next transfer window?
Ooh.
What's that one signing?
That's a tough one.
That would make the biggest impact on this team.
There's so much potential.
Yeah.
So many possibilities.
Keep that question in mind, folks, because as we dive deeper, you'll start to see the answer emerge. It's almost like Amorim is conducting an orchestra, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's got all these talented musicians, but it's about getting them to play in harmony to create something truly special.
And he's not afraid to change the tempo, switch up the instruments, bring in a soloist when needed.
Right.
That's what makes him so fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
That constant evolution, that willingness to experiment.
And for you as someone who's studied, tactics and formations, what's the most exciting aspect of watching Amorim ball take shape?
Honestly, it's that moment when it all clicks.
Yeah.
When you see the players moving as one anticipating each other's movement. That rapid fire passing, cutting through defenses like a hot knife through butter.
Wow.
It's almost poetic.
It's like they're speaking a language only they understand, a secret code that unlocks the opposition's weaknesses.
And the beauty is that it's adaptable.
Yeah.
You saw it against Arsenal. They switched between a 3-4-3 and a 4-2-3-1 seamlessly.
Right.
Always dictating the tempo, forcing the gunners to react rather than impose their own game.
So it's not just about having a plan A.
Right.
It's about having a plan B, C, and D up your sleeve, ready to adapt to any situation.
That's what separates the good managers from the great ones.
Right.
That ability to read the game, to anticipate the opponent's moves, and to adjust accordingly.
Right.
And Amorim has that in spades.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about tactics and players.
Yeah.
But let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
What does this all mean for Manchester United's future? Where are they headed under Amorim's guidance?
Well, I think it's safe to say there's a renewed sense of hope.
Okay.
A belief that the club is finally moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
A new era for a club that's been searching for its identity for a while.
There's a clear philosophy.
Yeah.
A defined style of play. And a manager who's not afraid to make bold decisions.
And while it won't be easy, there will be setbacks. There will be challenges.
You got it.
But the foundation is there.
The pieces are starting to come together.
Yeah.
And you can sense that something special is brewing at Old Trafford.
And for the fans, that's what matters most, right?
Absolutely.
That sense of hope, that belief that their club is capable of achieving great things again.
It's the lifeblood of any football club.
Yeah.
And with Amorim at the helm, Manchester United have every reason to be optimistic about the future.
We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we?
We have.
We analyzed the Arsenal match, dissected Amorim ball, and explored the challenges and possibilities that lie ahead for Manchester United.
And hopefully you, the listener, have gained a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the beautiful game.
Absolutely.
The strategic thinking that goes on behind the scenes and the passion that drives these players and managers.
But remember, this is just the beginning. This team, this manager, this style of play, it's all still evolving.
It is.
And that's what makes it so exciting to follow.
We're witnessing a transformation in real time.
Yeah.
A new chapter is being written in Manchester United's history, and who knows what the future holds.
That's the beauty of football, isn't it?
It is.
The unpredictability, the drama, the moments of brilliance that leave you breathless.
So keep watching, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Yes.
Because there's always more to discover in the world's most captivating sport.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, may your football journey be filled with passion, insight, and endless possibilities.